or what people were gonna think about me. He was like, no, God, don't take your spirit away from me. And Psalm, where like this happens same thing to Saul, like, and for how much we can point the finger to Saul again, I think like we do this maybe a small portion and not in everything in our life, but we have things that we're like, God, take everything except this.
Yeah, I was gonna say that David would say that God don't take your in the multiple times when David said, God take your spirit from me.
Yeah,
which is very different than what Saul's like, God forgive me, and then he's like, Samuel forgive me, and let sacrifices show the people that everything's okay, because he wanted to keep his image. He wasn't really so much, at least the way it appears, he wasn't so much concerned about God taking his spirit from him and really being sorry about what he did. And I think that definitely shows the difference in what the focus was and how we kind of got blinded by that.
hello everyone, welcome back to Finger on This Thing, a series where we can discuss about podcasts or things that we watch that we think like they're really, we like it, that there's something that we like to speak about. I like to read each time, like, you know, the verse. If a person is new, maybe starting now to see our video, I want to make sure in the
verse Philippians 5, you mean
4:8, yeah.
Whatever thing is.
And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true, honorable, and right, and pure, and lovely, and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worth of praise. Keep putting into practice all you learned and received from me, everything you heard from me and saw me doing. Then the God of peace will be with you. Again, what we said in the beginning, this idea came from this verse. We want to fix our thoughts on things that are like excellence and worth of praise, because actually they even say, because if you do this, the God of peace will be with you. And it means that if you don't have peace in your life, it means that also your focus probably not on excellence, lovely, and kind things that could help you to find peace. But today we want to, I think, highlight two. One is not a podcast.
Yep.
It's The House of David. It's a new TV series that on Amazon Prime, for who doesn't know where it is, but up to now we watched 3 episodes. But I have to say that the first episode was like strong.
Yeah.
The first episode, like, for who doesn't know the story of David, the first episode actually starts with when Saul kills all the Amalekites, I think, or
yep.
No, yeah,
I think Amalekites.
Yeah, and God told him through Samuel to kill all of them, destroy everything, no sheep, nothing. Like, you have to completely destroy everything.
Not Samuel.
Samuel told Saul
okay, yeah,
that he had to completely destroy everything.
Yep.
And he decided that the plan was not the plan. And instead of destroy everything, he kept the sheep, kept the gold, kept the leader of the Amalekite, King Agag, yeah. Then Saul, while whipping, because of that, Samuel was whipping the seer, but goes back. And then I think one thing that, I don't know, for me at least, like, it touched me so much, because I was crying. Like, it's like just hearing those words coming out from his mouth instead of just reading. You know, when like he rebukes, when Samuel gets to Saul and rebukes him and say, like,
I know which part, but I was saying, just to clarify for other people, what you're talking.
And when he says, like, obedience better than sacrifice.
Yeah.
I'm leading you, and like, I don't know, like, all of that, like, it touched me so strong. All that scene is like, see it like acted compared to like just reading on the Bible. I mean, reading the Bible also touches you, but like later acted, and then you see the expression on their face and everything. I think they did a great job. Like, let's hand down, like, probably we are one of the time in this world when we have some of the best animation for Christianity. Like, a lot of Christian stories, they are really nice looking, finally. They're spending money in the right way.
Definitely for production.
But yeah, I was so touched by that. I was amazing. Like, it's amazing. Like, yeah, I was crying, because like, it's true. Like, I know we always point the finger to Saul, but like, in reality, we are the one. We are also done. we please people more than we obey God. We prefer serve in church than obey God when He's telling like, hey, I need you to start writing your book, or like I need you to do this, but like you're like, oh, but I'm like I'm gonna do anything except that. I'm gonna serve in church because that's where people can see me. And I'm not saying serving is bad, but like there is like it's sometimes we hide in things that make Christianity look better and a Christian person look better in front of other Christian people.
Yeah.
When like actually what God asks us to do, it's much more deep. There is something else that actually He wants us to obey. I don't know. That's I think is the scene that really like touched me the most of that until now. Like apart all I think they did a great job for all the 3 episodes, but I can like I've been keep thinking about that. It's just like how true and how strong is that point.
Yeah, I think the part that kind of stood out to me was how Saul was like, he was saying like, oh, I was afraid, kept saying like, oh, I was afraid of the people. It's like, oh, I was afraid of the people, I was afraid of the people. And then Samuel grabbed him and was like, why didn't you fear God's wrath more than you fear? Why would you fear the wrath of the people more than you would fear the wrath of God?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Like, that was also.
And I think at the same time, yeah, we're like, wow, Saul, what a dummy. But at the same time, we choosing to do what makes us look better in front of others instead of fully doing what God told us to do. We do that all the time. Saul, because he was on such a bigger scale, he was literally the king. So what he did had obviously a bigger effect, but we do it all the time in smaller ways. So it's easy to point through like, wow, Saul, why would you do? The instructions were so clear. All you needed to do was, kill everybody and, not keep anything, not halfway do it. But when you think about it, it's so easy for us to do the same thing. We do the same thing.
Yeah.
And same thing, fear of people. And not just a fear of people, if we just want to look a certain way. Because I think it wasn't just, he did definitely had a problem with fear of people, fear of man. But he also was a pride of wanting to have a certain image. I'm the king,
he was protecting his position. Like, yes, he kept saying like...
But no one was protecting his position. I think it was protecting the image of his position.
The image of his position. Yeah. He was like, I'm the king. This is how I should look. And it's kind of like, it's hard to be humble when you have so much like attention. Makes sense? It's us, sometimes it's easy to point our fingers to big pastors and everything if they do something wrong. But the amount of pressure, mental pressure you have when you are like on top, it's much higher like than when you're bottom. Like, because honestly speaking, Saul, he started good. Like, he was humble, he was small. Like, that's what Saul said. Like, Samuel told him, like, I found you when you were small in your tribe. Like, God raised you up. Like, that means that he was originally not in a bad position.
See, I agree and a little bit disagree, because I think that when you read about Saul, it says something about like after he was anointed, he was like hiding or something like that, doesn't it? I'd have to go back and check.
Yeah, he was hiding. Yeah, when they called him that he was a new king.
Yeah.
They could not find him.
Yes, exactly. To me, Saul always kind of had a problem with his identity in being the king. Like, I feel like it went from one extreme to the other. Like, after he was anointed, he was hiding, and then we went to the other.
I think actually, now that you say that, it sounds like exactly the same. He has become the same because, like, at that time,
I guess the weight was a big.
He was not seeing like as himself, like, because no one recognized him as a king. Like, he was scared and he ran, he hid. Now people were recognizing him as a king. Then he decided, like, oh, I have to keep them good and keep them recognizing me as a king instead of God. Like, he was more worried that they stopped to recognize him as a king than God stopped recognizing him as a king. And because actually, even after he took like the kingdom from him, like, he was not even worried about like, oh, let me go back to Samuel, let me pray about it, let me fast, and that's what we see David, because David David got rebuked much time. Like if we remember the Bible, he got rebuked multiple times. He almost lose his kingdom, but then he repented. He went to God instead of went to people. Like he didn't care about like, oh, what people were gonna think about me. He was like, no, God, don't take your spirit away from me. And Psalm, where like this happened same thing to Saul. Like Samuel took the spirit away. Like God took the spirit away from Saul, but Saul was not even worried about this. He was like, oh, don't take my throne, take everything, but except my crown. He was almost like that. And for how much we can point the finger to Saul again, I think like we do this maybe a small portion and not in everything in our life, but we have things that we're like, God take everything except this.
Yeah, I was gonna say that David would say like, God don't take your spirit. And then multiple times later, David said, God don't take your spirit from me.
Yeah,
which is very different than what Saul. Saul's like, God forgive me, and then he was like, Samuel forgive me, and let sacrifices show the people that everything's okay. Because he wanted to keep his image. He wasn't really so much, at least the way it appears, he wasn't so much concerned about God taking his spirit from him and really being sorry about what he did. And I think that definitely shows the difference in what the focus was and how we kind of got blinded by that. Other thing too that it's interesting to me, like this isn't, which they kind of don't show in the show, but this wasn't the first time, the first incident. We know that in the Bible there's another incident before this where Saul got impatient. And which again, I understand. Thinking about it, like honestly, I understand why he did the sacrifice without waiting for Samuel, because Samuel was late. But that was the first time, and God said that the king. I think then God said the kingdom is not going to be going to stay with you. It's going to go to someone else. But God still allowed him to be king. He still had his mind, and he still had God's spirit. The second time is when those other things happened. And yeah, that's when things went downhill quickly from there. But it's just interesting because even then God was patient and long-suffering. Because I think sometimes people think, oh, and God in the Old Testament wasn't patient and long-suffering. God gave him multiple chances. Because the problem is also, because he's the king, if he keeps doing stuff like that, it's really dangerous. It won't just affect him. It's going to affect everybody else.
Yeah. And also everyone, like, if the king is the image of how to work with God, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was the... And if he was not showing respect to God, obviously, like, other people would start to do the same. I mean, we see men again and again, like, after that, like, after David and Solomon, you see, like, depending on which king was on throne, people were worshiping different things. Like, people, at the end, were following the king. The king was the main, like, everyone was looking at the king. What the king does, we do.
Yeah. And I think it's sad how, something I knew, but I forgot about, like, I didn't fully think about was how, like, he mentioned how, like, because Saul was kind of like, in the show, Saul was saying to Samuel, oh, Jonathan's going to be the next king. And then Samuel's like, Jonathan will never rule. Jonathan will never be a king. And I knew that, but I didn't think about it. Like, man, because of what Saul's disobedience, it affected Jonathan. Now, Jonathan never got to be king. And who knows, Jonathan might have been a good king. But because of what Saul did now.
But one thing that I noticed, actually, that was kind of interesting that is not spoken, is like between all the kings of Israel, actually Saul was the only one with one wife.
From what we know, they never talked about Saul. I mean, he didn't have a lot of wives.
Yeah. No, I think he never...
No, I don't think he had, I don't think he had multiple. But either way, I'm saying, if he had...
He wasn't really like...
no.
He actually, when it comes to marriage and everything, he was like one wife and kids, that's it.
And he didn't have a crazy son.
He had really good... I mean... In the show, the other sons...
Well, it's possible.
Which possible, we don't... I mean, I never went in depth with that. But, like, I mean, the one we hear about Jonathan is great son. Like, honestly, when it comes to fatherhood, like, Amos Saul could be a good example of fatherhood because, like, he had a good marriage.
Yeah.
He had a healthy marriage and he had a healthy son. Like, the son was on fire for God, Amos more than him. And in fact, even he didn't care about the throne. Even when David came, he literally said, like, for me, if you are the king, I'm going to follow you. Like, he respected God's choices more than everything. But as you say, it's so sad because, like, how father choice can affect so much the son.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I think of people like, oh, God, because God said, like, I'm not going to put your sin on your son, It's true, but, like, you still, like, the things you do in the world can affect people after.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, now, Jonathan didn't feel like leaving his father while he was crazy and everything.
Yeah.
Ended up dying in war with
Yeah.
craziness, and probably if he had left and ran with David, probably he would have still be alive.
Yeah.
And be one of the best men for David. So it's kind of like it's interesting. I mean, this is all I'm thinking. Like it's interesting because like from all the people you see in the Bible, one of the best example father-son things is actually like
No, true.
Saul and Jonathan. Like David, they didn't have, except Solomon, that was good, but like they didn't have great relationship.
But it wasn't so crazy, because most of the people, their sons don't turn out great. At least in the Bible, which their children in general don't turn out great. Which is, interesting. So, something else interesting I thought of, which they haven't got to, but I just thought about it. I was thinking about it, how his daughter, Michal, I'm not sure if you say her name, we know that in the Bible, she tries to like rebuke David for when he was worshiping God and dancing when the ark was brought back.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting to me, watching the show, it reminded me how she probably learned that from Saul, being so too obsessed with what people think.
And Saul is his wife, you don't know.
Yeah, from his wife, from her family, basically.
Yeah, her family, yeah.
And God punished her for that, and she was barren. What I'm like, dang, even that could have easily been something she had learned from her family. And so just things that her family taught her caused her to end up in something that she didn't have to be, a situation that she didn't have to be in.
Yeah, it's totally teach us that like the way we grow up and everything is like, as a parents, we need to be really careful on what we do and what we teach, because that will change how people see a certain thing. But also like as children, like for example, me, myself, I know that like I grew up in a certain family and I was so blessed. But at the same time, I always go to God asking like, is there anything I need to change from how I grew up?
Yeah.
Because there can be some toxic, like some wrong things that does not bring glory to God, does not honor like God, and I need to help from God to clean up those things. I think that that's I would say was, again, for everyone, if you haven't watched it or you haven't started to watch, I would tell you.
Pretty good so far.
We like it.
The first episode was good. The second episode I felt like was a bit slow.
Empty, yeah.
Kind of felt a little bit more like a filler. The third episode was good. I'm still like, all right, we can pick up the pace a little bit, because it feels like they're spending a lot of time setting up. But I like the overall idea of this show. The quality is pretty good too. So I'm like, okay. And I like how it makes you think about things too. Yeah. But it's not too heavy.
And I know that's really hard to trying to get those conversations in the right moment with the right pictures and images. Like it's hard to imagine like, okay, how this is went through, like exactly what moment he said so and everything. You know, like it's not easy. No, exactly. And I think until now they're really doing good job. Like, I feel like they've been done really good job. I like that.
Yeah. It is interesting. Side note, also Samuel's son pretty messed up. So it's just interesting how like so many people.
Yeah, you don't. There's an English show
specifically says that Samuel's sons were like.
Oh yeah, inside the Bible. Yeah. But like I'm thinking, in fact, the show you don't even see them. I mean, it's a lot of time. Like even Moses. Like we were watching like the other show in YouTube, The Promised Land. That's another good show. It's on YouTube, The Promised Land. We're gonna put all in the description, like in the notes like this. You can go and check that, and it's super fun. It's kind of like they give you like a fun.
It's a twist. Not lighter,
lighter Exodus, but it's kind of like it's interesting that like same things, you know, in the show they're trying to always move the camera to catch the sons, but you never see the sons, because actually in the Bible, like except when they got circumcised, you don't hear anything about them. Like there is no future for Moses. Like all the Moses generation and Moses, like Moses carrot. Nothing else. No one after that has nothing. And it's kind of interesting because even Joseph had more after him. Like he had literature, like in fact there was not just the things of Joseph, but it was like Ephraim and but like that's kind of interesting. But like no, Moses cut up, right? Samuel, same thing. There is we don't know no one after Samuel. Like no one. I mean, maybe if you go in deep, maybe you can find some connection. Yeah. For example, a connection I have found, like at least God has showed me, has always been interesting. It's like that you see that like God, it's kind of interesting how God does things. But I think I told you before, like Saul, he was of the house of Benjamin.
Yes.
Okay. And, like now, just after Christ, when he dies and everything, the guy that wrote most of the New Testament,
The other Saul.
the other Saul, is also from the house of Benjamin.
That is funny. I think you did tell me that recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he wrote more than half the Testament. It's kind of interesting how, because like Jesus is from the house of Judah.
Yeah.
And his things, but then like this, if you think the second one that after Jesus did some of the biggest things was another Saul. It's almost like God was like
redeeming
the house of Benjamin, like later on in his life, I'm gonna bring another person. I haven't totally forgot what Saul did, even if like he mistaken and he left. Like there was a promise, because in the beginning he made a promise that would be forever. And I think like the way he kept his promises was through Saul later on. A lot later on that came for. And I would not be surprised if they come back and they found out that actually those Saul, it's connected to the house.
It could be. That wouldn't be honestly shocking.
Because God does those things.
So yeah.
That's a ton of years though. It's not like just like 20 50 years after, 200 years after. It's like a lot of years after. So, but I mean, we know that one person survived of the famine.
Oh yeah,
Benjamin.
It's true. I forget his name, but yes. No, I can't think.
Yeah,
I know.
It means that's totally possible.
Yeah. There's been crazier thing.
Right. Yeah. But that was a fun connection that I think. It's like, even just like as a Benjamite, it's like he kept the Benjamite, like he brought the Benjamite back, like. And it's funny because like in that case, Saul, now he was a bad guy and was transformed in a good guy. Where like the original Saul, he was a good guy and it became a bad guy.
Right. That is funny. Saul was always kind of interesting, honestly.
Yeah.
The first Saul.
Yeah, the one in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
More, apart from that, the other one we want to highlight was from the Paris.
We talked about the podcast we watched from them last time.
Yes, Jacob Perry.
It's like with Jackie Perry. It's like with the Paris.
I think it's with the Paris, yeah.
Yeah.
And they had a really good one about singleness. How to be.
I will have to get her son soon because it's 4:30.
Okay. I understand. Okay. Sorry, it's with the Paris, and where two parts. It's dating after 30, singleness, and other question answered. We want to highlight this one. I really like it. It was really great. I like because it's kind of funny how like, ideally I think the idea was that Jacob Perry things were asking questions to two single people.
Yeah.
About their experience, but ended up more like almost like
it was the opposite. They were
a fool or
yeah.
There was them asking questions like,
I think it should be that.
Yeah, I think one thing me and you were discussing was about the fact that like, I think one thing that was really, we had a big discussion about that. How do you reject? Hey, let's say a guy comes to you and say like, hey, I like you, I want to be you. Like, how you properly reject the person without destroying his ego and without gossip around about it. I think that was a good point. It was all on the part 2, and it's so true though. It's like I was telling you, like when I grew up, when I was high school, I was fat, right? And I was overweight. I was not obese yet. I was not obese, but I was overweight. And I remember like there were some girl I liked and everything, and I asked them, and always their response was like, no, you don't look good, you're overweight. But then the problem was like, it then never finished there. Like there is always like, almost they make fun of you.
Yeah.
And then like somehow all the girls in that class knows about it, and then like they all make fun of you. And it become kind of weird because like maybe there is a girl that now likes you, but that she doesn't feel like saying that she likes you, because obviously like you will be making fun. They will make fun also that girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously there is age difference. I think it's like when you are high school,
people do
we are down.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, they're mature, but it's true that now those happen like at 30 years old. Like you see 25 years old, 30 years old that they do those things. Do I think that there is a way to be not like to not destroy a man ego by rejecting? Not really, because like that's part of, like, you know, like
Their feelings are, I think the thing they were trying to say is like without hurting his feelings, you're going to somewhat hurt his feelings.
yeah, there is no way.
Because, I mean, it's just going to be like, dang, that sucks. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, it's gonna be for a woman the same things. Like if I break up with you,
or if a woman gets rejected,
how like is there really like a way to break up that is not gonna hurt a woman's feeling?
yeah,
Not really.
there's, well, not just that, like maybe it's even like a date, like maybe for women, a woman can get rejected also. She could ask for a guy's number and he could say no. They could go on a date. She's like, oh, maybe I want another date. And he's like, no, you know what I mean? So there's instances on both sides where rejection can happen. I think one of the biggest things, kind of like what they were saying and what we were just kind of having a further discussion on, is obviously treat people the way you want to be treated. Be clear. Because I noticed definitely with guys, if you leave, this is where I think sometimes it gets kind of like the territory of like trying to be nice, but trying to be clear. Because sometimes what happened is in the effort of trying to be nice, you're not clear enough.
Yep.
And so guys sometimes think that there's some hope left. And it's like, no, I was just trying to be like, you know, nice to you.
I think that,
sorry.
No, go finish.
But at the same time, it's like, I think people also can just read into what they want to read into it. Like you can be as nice or as clear as you want. And if person is just not going to take the rejection and keep trying, they will. So it's like you can put some on the person who's rejecting the person, but you have to also remember that sometimes people just want to hear what they want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So don't put too much on yourself. Like, oh, maybe you didn't do it right. But also there is the time when like this dude is just not handling it well.
Yeah, and I think I don't want to say I've done all the I've done relationship well, right?
Yeah.
I've done my mistakes and everything. Praise the grace of God, I am married. But and all my mistakes, God helped me still. But one thing that I know is that as a man, I don't want too much pampering. You know, like if you're breaking up, don't make too many compliments.
Well, not even breaking up, just like rejecting.
Oh, rejecting, don't do too many compliments.
Yeah.
It doesn't make us feel better. Like why you would say like, oh, you know, like you look good, you like I love speak with you, but like sorry, we cannot have this relationship. What the heck does it mean? Like no offense, like it doesn't mean
They're trying to be nice.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Like the Bible never saying to be nice. The Bible say to be kind.
Okay,
That are two different.
I'm saying
no, that's not kindness though, because
I'm saying they're thinking it's kind. Okay, yes, because if there's a guy that you don't like, there's whatever guy you don't want to date, and you're like, hey, because you don't tend to think that they're a bad person necessarily. So you're like, oh, you're a nice person. You're just saying like trying to say like there's not something wrong with you. I just don't think we're a good fit.
And I think that's a lie, because like the reason why you're not a good fit, it's because there is something wrong many times.
Something wrong, but
there is a red flag.
Yeah, but
okay, but there's still something wrong for you.
Well, I'm not going to tell it. Okay, first of all, it also depends on how far in this rejection are we going. Because if we're just in the rejection stage, not like in the dating stage, 'cause that's a breakup versus a rejection. But for guys like, hey, I just want to, maybe they've been friends a little bit, or he's just asking for your number. I think it's like, hey, I think you're a nice person, but you're saying there's something wrong with saying, hey, I think you're a nice person.
I think you're a nice person, but it's not the worst. It's more like when they go deep in compliment. You know, like sometimes they're like,
you seem like
you went on, for example, you went maybe on a date already, and then after a date, you're like, hey, do you want to start a relationship?
Another date.
Yeah, and then they're like, no, like you are really a good guy. I love the time I spend with you. But
that's too much.
They do that. So like you go to a date and they'll be like, oh yeah, it was nice the time we spend another date, but I don't want to go out with you.
I think,
and I'm like, wait,
more usually.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you need to be kind and you need to be straightforward, but without sound too much aggressive on your or rude.
But that's what happens. Women sometimes get to the point, I feel like, but they're just like, I'm just gonna be like, they get a little bit on the rude side. Again, it also depends on the kind of people you're around, what kind of guys are shooting their shot at you. But you always get weirdos.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, like there's always someone gonna get offended. Like there's it's really hard to run away from offense.
Yeah, I mean the little dating experience that I have, where I've had to tell a couple of guys no. I remember there's one that he was so mad. But we weren't even like close to dating. Like, I was just like, hey, you seem like a nice person. I was literally like, hey, you seem like a nice person, but I'm just not interested.
And I think it's fair.
Yeah, I just said it like that. And he was also older than me. I was like early 20s and he was like early 30s.
Yeah.
So I was really like, no, I'm just not interested. And he was really butthurt about it. Like, he was pretty mad. He angry texted me and stuff. And so, yeah, so sometimes there's just not going to be, because you can rack your brain thinking like, oh, maybe I should have said it like this. Maybe I should have said it like that. But if you're being like, I think direct, but also pretty straightforward and not rude, then there's not a lot you can do.
Yeah, and again, offense is gonna come a little bit. Some people they need to grow.
Yeah.
No offense, like some guys and some girls, they just need to
People
grow.
are just immature.
Yeah, we're immature. You cannot take a rejection. Okay, I'm sorry, bro. Like,
And if someone asks you,
but you don't should gossip too. That's the other side that we're speaking about. That was really important.
and this isn't gossip, but unless the person, like,
It's
a real red flag,
Yeah.
like, hey, this person is like kind of
it's
he was
toxic.
creepy.
Yeah, there's some toxicity behind.
And like real creepy, not just like, but you have real creepy, like, he was like kind of sort of, showing up at my work or like sort of like low-key stalking me or something like that. Then you need to tell other people, hey, I would be careful around that. That's more like just for safety, because now we're talking about safety.
Exactly. But you should not speak behind his back. Let's say, okay,
you guys just didn't vibe. The chemistry wasn't there.
Yeah, but even if you say like, let's say, I don't know, there is some type of features on his body that you don't like, or
There's a habit that you don't.
yeah, no, like
You don't tell everybody.
Yeah, don't just go around like. I agree what they say. Like, if you have a really good friend and you just want to have a conversation, is different. But if the one person, you also have to make sure that person is not gossiper.
Yeah.
That you're not gonna go around saying, but like, apart from that,
And guys and girls too. I think
guys,
I know they don't say as much, but I feel like sometimes guys can tell other guys, hey, this girl was, whatever. And
yeah, we do sometimes that too. Like, it's like we make fun of like if some girls are like, there is that.
that's what I'm saying.
There is that.
In different ways, but I'm saying both sides. That's my point.
In both sides, I think is like. But again, I agree with Jacob was saying. Like, I mean, you have the good way to go in a relationship or start dating and everything is by seeking first the kingdom of God and everything. Because honestly speaking, it's so hard. Myself, before I remember, like, God told me, I felt really from God at least that I should meditate. As soon as I got to Charis, at the beginning, I started to meditate on Proverbs 31, what is the perfect wife, and I will read that every night. And yeah, that was like something that, at least that's how God, I think, was speaking wisdom on how I should handle a relationship. And then from the previous relationship, I learned that like wisdom doesn't end once the relationship starts.
Yeah.
Because like my previous relationship, before going together, we went to God, we prayed and everything, and we felt God was saying, yes, let's go. Okay, cool. But then once we got in,
you didn't do that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was like all old habits. Like, this is where I've done it.
We're kind of like, all right, full speed ahead. I got the yes. I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, exactly. There is no any other question. Wait, God, is there something else I need to do? Where like the second relationship, I think with just reading that every night, I give space to God to tell me like, hey, I want you to do this first and then speak about this. You remember, for example, we did something that people probably never do. Like, even when we decide to start our relationship, we actually give a month.
And just finding out stuff about each other.
Finding out stuff about each other.
Like kind of like we were dating for a month before we got into like.
It was more like, was a little bit a step over dating and one step before relationship.
I think
because we were because we were going a little bit out already before that. We went out for a few dates. Yeah, before that, before Thanksgiving. Yeah, we went 2 times out.
No, we went out once before we went.
Yeah, because we also Thanksgiving with your parents. Remember, I was like in North Carolina.
You're talking about because we got together my birthday. Yeah. Excuse me. No, we didn't get together on my birthday. You sent me
3 days after.
Yes.
And then we went to Thanksgiving to your parents, and before Thanksgiving we went
to the cafe.
Yeah, but
that was it.
No, when we went to North Carolina, we went out for a walk together.
Oh, Okay,
we did that.
I'm trying to understand.
Okay,
what you were
and then
trying
at
to
that
say.
point, I say like, hey, we should take a full month where like we should not jump in a relationship, but
That's just, okay. So we were like, okay, we're gonna go on more dates to figure out if we should be talk more about being in a relationship.
we need to find the right words though. It's like date with purpose.
They like to use intention, but
Yeah, intentional dates.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was not a let's find out if we can be, because there are
it
dates.
kind of was. Let's find out, though.
Yeah, it was kind of found out, but like with a strong intention. Like our goal was to come up with a list of things that God told us, things, boundaries, things of the past I was supposed to tell you, things of the future, like dreams of things.
I will say, not everybody has to like get so far into their past, because here's the thing: we already were friends.
Yeah.
Let's just put that in place, because if you're just starting a relationship with the person, you don't necessarily need to tell them, oh, you're nitty-gritty past right away. So let's just be clear about that. We already were friends.
But also we said we like each other.
Yeah.
And
No,
God
but I'm
already
just saying,
confirmed that we could be together. Then like we were just spending a month to think like before we really go together, is there something we need to tell to each other? That's important.
We wanted to, it wasn't, well, I don't know. For me also, it was like, I need to find out some basic stuff before we get into this relationship, take this dating into a relationship. So like, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. So there are some things like, for instance, cold weather. Are you a person who forever wants to be in like cold places?
Mm-hmm.
If that, and be in the mountains somewhere.
Yep.
If that, I know that's life is never going to be for me. So there's no point in pursuing this any further. If that's how you want to live your life. If you never, if you say you don't want kids.
Yep.
There's no point in even getting into a relationship, because I don't need to try to convince you to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a different life. People want different things. That's fine. Again, for me, I was like, I don't want to go into this, waste our time, get like 6 months in, and then find out, oh, you don't want kids. So like, okay, we need to with that.
Yep.
So for me, I was like, let's get a few things. Well, we didn't do all this on one date, but it was just like, let's get a few basics out of the way. And again, it doesn't need to be like every date needs to be so heavy where it feels like you're going into an interview or something like that. Because we still did fun stuff. We would go to the mall and things like that. But I just, for me, I was like, because we were I'm still in my late 20s, but I was like 26.
Yeah, I was 27. 25.
No, I
You
was
were
like 25. I was 25. Yeah.
I was 27.
Yeah. So we were just at the point. I mean, I feel like once you hit 25, you just start to be like, okay, and not that we're so old, but it's like I still don't want to waste.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was 27, and I was like, I was like that. I was like, I mean, for a lot of people, don't care at 27, but for me, at 27, I was like, I need to find a person I want to marry now. I'm like, and I need to do
Which
this.
doesn't mean that just from
I need
that, you
to
were like,
find-
oh, we're definitely getting married.
No, but like, I was like, I need to do this seriously. Like, for me, like, the reason why I was asking God all the time, because I was like, I need to do this the right way in one shot. Like, at least these were my things. Like, I know I cannot do by myself. I already tried. I've been engaged 2 times before this.
Yeah.
It didn't work. This is my 3rd opportunity. I need to do this right good.
Yeah.
I tried before by myself. It didn't work.
Yeah.
I tried 1 time by myself totally. 1 time half with God, half with myself.
Yeah.
3rd time, I need God full in this.
Right.
Like, I need like every steps. I need to find God. I need to make sure I learn. We study together. We understand what is a relationship. Open to read book about relationship. I never read before. That's when I just
we studied the books separately. We were always like we were doing like a Bible study.
No, we never did the Bible study, but we're reading things separated, and then we were discussing proof.
So I guess
like comparison.
I don't know.
But yeah, that was all. And we were all asking God. We were trying to stay open on God, because we had time where we had argument and stuff like that. That was where because we set up ourselves to always be open and listen to God, was kind of like easier to go through that argument, because some of those arguments were like to the point of like, if we don't solve this, we are not gonna stay together. If we are able to solve,
I just have to. I'm gonna go get our son.
Well,
back down.
like, I mean, we can say this can be part 1. Maybe we have a part 2 about relationship. Actually, if you like it, let us know in description if you want to hear more about how we start, how our marriage
I
came.
was say relationship advice. I mean, there's not. I feel like we've only been married for almost 3 years, so we're by no means experts. So I wouldn't even call it true.
But at least we did.
Our relationship experience.
I can say one thing. So we didn't have the terrible first year that a lot of people say when they get married.
Well, I feel like just people. I've met a lot of people who said their first year wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know. So, but I feel like it's something people just say though, like, "Oh, was your first year? So you're gonna do you hate him yet?" Or weird stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that.
But so yeah, just saying we can talk more about relationships for sure. But I'm just saying we also.
I mean, we can just share our experience. So this is how we did it. Doesn't mean you have to do it in this way.
Doesn't mean.
It worked for us, and yeah, we can. If you are interested, honestly, yeah, I would love you guys to hear on the comments. Like, just tell me. Like, hey guys, yeah, please share more. Like, why did you start and everything?
Yeah.
How your relationship started and everything. We can share about some of the things that we have done, but
Yeah.
Again, we don't. This is not the Bible. What we are we are not the Word of God. We did things by following the Word of God, but we also made mistakes.
Yeah.
And in the best way, like Jackie
Perry.
Jackie O'Perry say like seek first the kingdom of God, seek first God, speak with God, and probably you're gonna have the best solution for each one relationship. And if God say it's not the right one, don't fight it. Just stop it. You're gonna just delay the right one. Because if you are wasting your time in the one that's not right, you're just missing the one that's right. Because it can be just behind or around the corner. Anyway, I say. Thank you very much for watching this 3rd episode. Let us know what you think and have a blessed day.
Bye.